Bambiz Marketing presents Elder Law Growth, the podcast that helps elder law and estate planning attorneys attract clients without wasting time or money. I'm your host, Amie Hurst. Let's dive in. Hey, elder law and estate planning attorneys, welcome back for another podcast episode. This episode is going to be different from the rest. I'm going to cut to the chase, cut all the fluff. Instead of having a conversation, we're going to have a step-by-step tutorial on how to optimize your Google listing. We're making this podcast episode for those of you solo, small law firm attorneys who are managing their own Google listing. And for those of you who have asked us what we do to rank higher and get more traffic to your website and ultimately get more appointments booked, because really, that's how people find you. They find you through your Google listing first. That's the first impression, right? So we want to make sure your Google listing is top notch. So step by step, I'm going to spill all the beans and tell you exactly what we do. So for those of you who are listening in the car and you're not able to watch this screen share, you're welcome to watch this later on our YouTube channel for the visual effects, and I will do my best to verbally explain each step. Are you ready? Let's dive into it. So I have one of our clients pulled up. This is Patrick's account. We manage his Google listing, and I'm going to walk you through what we do to get him in front of as many eyes as possible and to get him as many appointments in the books. So the first thing that we pay attention to is the photos. Everyone's a visual person. It draws the eye. So as you've noticed, there is no picture of Pat, but there's a picture of his physical building. There's a picture of the map and his location, and there's a picture of his brand. This is really for Google to be able to recognize that he's a legitimate business. Really, when these people are typing in or they're finding your Google listing, it really helps for them to see the actual building. So that way, when they're looking for directions, they know what to expect. But here's the deal. When you click on the photos, there's Pat. There he is. And guess what? There's no stock photos. No way. If you have stock photos on your Google listing, please do yourself a favor and just get rid of those and post real pictures. These are pictures that it looks like his staff took. They just look like normal pictures. The whole goal with your photos here is to make it so that way potential clients can know exactly what they're walking into when they book an appointment. So see, look at this. Here's a drawing board in Pat's office. I would think, oh, okay, so this is kind of what I'd be working with. This is the attorney I'd be working with. This is the conference room that I'd be sitting in. Here's the front door. Now I know what the front door looks like, just in case I get lost, which actually happens. So there's just lots of real photos of his office, and there's him on the radio, just to make it look as real and as welcoming as possible. So that's our goal with his photos. The next thing that we want to make sure is absolutely accurate is all of his information. The call button, make sure it has the right phone number. When people click on the website button, that it goes to his website, that his directions are correct. This can be a huge obstacle, especially for those law firms who have switched buildings, who have switched offices. Make sure your Google listing reflects that. So we make sure his address is correct, that his hours are correct, his phone number. Now here's something that I've seen that a lot of law firms do not have, and that is the long form link to their website listed under appointments. This helps drive business. This helps drive people to his website. So make sure you include the link to your website. The whole goal of your Google listing is to get as many people to your website or as many phone calls as possible. So put your website everywhere on your Google listing. That's what Google wants you to do. So after we make sure all of his information is accurate and reflects his phone number, his address, everything matches, the next thing we hone in on is the Google reviews. Now I know it is so hard to get reviews. It is. It's hard for us too. We get it. So along with this podcast down below, I'm going to include a link to a video It includes a strategy that we use, and we're actually getting clients out of it, not just reviews, so we know it works. This technique goes against the grain. So if you're having trouble getting reviews, getting people to leave reviews for you, check out that video. It'll help. So with reviews, the beautiful thing, of course, you need a lot of reviews. The more reviews you get, the higher up you get ranked. Of course, everyone knows this. But here's the beauty. It doesn't need to be all 5 stars. You don't need to be perfect. Actually, if you have a 4-star, 3-star, it makes you look more normal, makes you look like a human. So, and for those of you who do have a few negative reviews on your Google listing, don't delete them. They're your golden eggs. This is your perfect chance to make you look like the bigger person. Reply back as soon as you can. You don't want to leave that hanging out there with no response, because that doesn't look good on you. And it also doesn't look good on you if you reply back, if you retaliate, if you try to correct them, if you try to be logical, especially if that person isn't right. I get it. It's not good. People in bad moods tend to troll people. So don't delete the comment or don't delete the review. What you do is that you reply with kindness and understanding and validation, which is a struggle. I get it. But when you reply back and say, I am so sorry that we made you feel this way. Please give us a call and let's come up with a solution together. Call us as soon as you can. I'll be looking forward to your call. Now, when people see that response to a negative review, it makes you look really good. And it makes it look like you care and that you're understanding. So those negative reviews can actually help you, and it will show people how you handle criticism. So make sure all reviews are responded back to. Get as many reviews as you can. So after the reviews, we hone in on the products, otherwise known as the services part. Think of this as your mini website. This is like the services part on your website. This is where you want to list all of your services. This helps the potential client make their decision faster if you have all of this filled out. So Pat, you have services in special needs, and Medicaid, estate planning, of course. But potential clients don't really know what all you can do. So this is where it really helps when they can say, oh, well, hey, I do have a loved one who's disabled. Maybe they can help me with the benefits. So with the services, Google is not what it used to be 20 years ago, where people would cram keywords into their descriptions on their Google listing, and then Google would favor that. Google doesn't favor that anymore. So all you need to do is just put in a little caption about each service that you do. And it's got to be so easy a 6th grader can understand it. It needs to be simple. It needs to be easy to understand. And that's really all you need to do. And at the bottom of each service, include a link. Always include a link to your website. You always want to send the viewer to your website. Everywhere on your Google listing, include your website link. Right beneath products is the categories. So if you have a book, if you have a lead magnet, if you have something that you want to drive more people to build your email list, to get more revenue, like if you have something like that, this is a great place to put it. So Pat, he has an actual book that he sells on Amazon, and you can buy it there. So if you do have something you want to put there, here's what you do. You go to Edit Products, Add Products, select a category, and then you can select Book. And that's where you can put the landing page URL. So right underneath categories is the questions and answers. Now, this is a fascinating, highly underrated section on a Google listing where so many law firms completely ignore and they don't do anything with it. And that's a big mistake, and here's why. Anybody can go on and ask you a question on your Google listing, and anybody can go on and answer it. Think about that. Anybody can go onto your Google listing and answer questions on your Google listing. People can be giving false legal advice on your Google listing. and that's bad for business. So does the Q&A section rank you any higher on Google? No. Does it help your reputation? Yes. Can it hurt your reputation? Absolutely. So pay attention to the Q&A section. So what we did for Pat, and this is beautiful, you can actually seed the Q&A sections. And this is what I highly recommend to make sure that people aren't asking really obnoxious questions and then giving obnoxious answers, because people do that to mess with businesses. But you can take the control back by seeding your own questions and answers. So what we did was that we put in really frequently asked questions like, what is estate planning? Do you help with probate? Can you help me apply for Medicaid so I can afford nursing home? And if you've noticed, words are spelled like a normal person would spell it and not like an English major would write it. So go in and you can ask your own law firm questions, and then you can go back in and you can answer it. And here's the beauty: when you answer it, include a link. Now, here's another thing. If you want to take control of the Q&A and you say you want to make sure a certain question is right here at the top, which, let me show you a bad example. Let's see, donut shops. All right, I'm going to look up a donut shop in Nampa. So here's a bad example of this. This donut shop, their default question, which everyone can see, someone asked, where is this place? Here's the answer, and it's not by the owner. Somebody else answered it and said, I get the impression it's a home business. So if you can imagine, what if this place wasn't just a home business? What if this place actually just moved locations and they actually have a physical location that people can go into for donuts? That's bad for business. If I saw that and said, oh, okay, I guess I can't go inside and get coffee, I'd go somewhere else. That's bad for business. So you want to make sure whatever that first question and answer is a good one. So how can you do that? How can you make it possible? It's by the thumbs up. And this is where having a staff helps you out a lot. So we wanted this question to show up on top. What is estate planning? We wanted that question to be the default because it's a really helpful question, obviously. And then we had other people go in and thumbs up it, so that way it would show up on top. Just a little secret tip there. And then the last section, but not the least section, this section is huge. It's been huge for Pat. It has grown his YouTube channel. It's been so successful for him. If you're trying to grow your YouTube channel and you manage your own listing here on Google, post your videos here. Absolutely. So this is the update section. And how often should you update it? At least once a week. This is like your social media section on your Google listing for your law firm, right? So you want to make sure you're posting at least once a week. And it's easy. All you have to do is just copy and paste. So I'm going to click on the first one that pops up. So this is, he just did a video. So all we did was just copy paste from YouTube and put it here. And this drives a lot of traffic to his YouTube. Also, for those of you who have our social media content that we create and mail out every month, this is a great place to put it. As you probably recognize, this is some of our content that we write for our elder law and estate planning attorneys. Copy paste that and put it into your Google listing. It's really helpful. Also, at the very bottom, always include a link to your website. Always include a link to your website, to your YouTube, whatever it is you want to grow. Always include a link. There's another YouTube video. There's another piece of content that was made by us. So people say someone doesn't have Facebook and they haven't seen these posts and they haven't gone to your website yet or your YouTube page. But see how easy and fun it is to scroll through? And then you can click on the link. So having an updated Google listing for your law firm is imperative. It can only help you. So if you have any questions about any of this, please feel free to email me, Amie, A-M-I-E, at bambiz.net. And thank you so much for tuning into our podcast. Our podcast is for you. So much free information. We want to help you succeed. Again, if you have any questions, please reach out and we'd be happy to help. Take care. Thanks for listening to the Elder Law Growth Podcast, the place to be for all things marketing for elder law and estate planning law firms. If you liked this podcast, please leave us a review wherever you are listening to this podcast. If you'd like to outsource your marketing to our team, go to bambiz.net and book a free call with us today.